So sad for Sussex. No matter where they live, Harry and Meghan will still be unhappy. The reason why. Hello and a very warm welcome back to our LVT News channel. According to some PRD was that is coming out of the US. Harry and Meghan are considering buying a private island. Now, of course, this is just another attempt for them to get themselves in publicity. I mean, I remember not too long ago we were hearing about how they were considering buying a private jet. I think all of this is just to keep their names in people's mouths. And while they are succeeding. Now, I don't know if this story is true. I'm skeptical. But anyway, if it is true, I think that it doesn't matter where they live. They cannot run away from who they are and what they have done to get themselves into the position that they're in right now. Let me explain a little bit. For a little while, right after they got married, after the Queen, they actually were the most popular royals. And if they had just stuck with it, if they had to stay within the firm, fulfill their roles as members of the royal family and follow the examples that were already being set, I mean, who knows, maybe their popularity would have remained sky high. But obviously, that was not meant to be. And while Harry claimed that he felt trapped in his life, it was certainly Meghan who was the driving force behind their departure and also the beginning of their descent and global popularity. Maybe Meghan wanted to become the most famous person in the world, but instead, she is now the most infamous. See, Meghan's desire to be number one is insatiable. And that has been the cause of her undoing. If she had just been happy to settle into royal life as number 3 in the hierarchy through work and diligence, she still could have become the most popular member of the firm. I mean, if she tried really hard, maybe. But see, she can do that without instant gratification and personal financial gain. Meghan simply was not interested in even trying because she believed that she knew better in her American PR companies, too. She thought that she knew where she should go to become more popular, to achieve more fame and, most importantly, to make more money. We all know what has happened to Meghan and Harry in pursuit of Meghan's brand of happiness. But in spite of everything that has happened over the past 3 years, I guess Meghan is still going to try to reinvent herself on the global stage. Meghan really is convinced that with the right event, the right publicity, the world is finally going to understand what an amazing humanitarian person she is. And then finally, she will find herself in her rightful place at number. And actually, if that is correct, then Meghan definitely would not be happy on a private island any more than she would be happy if her name was not in the news on an almost daily basis. Meghan wants to be famous. I think the only way that Meghan would like living on a private island would be if she could buy Jeffrey Epstein's and hold parties, inviting all the rich and famous. And that's assuming that the rich and famous would even accept these invitations, which considering Meghan and Harry's record seems doubtful. There are also other factors at play here, like the fact that the Queen kicked them out because she discovered Meghan's unauthorized snooping and photo-taking, along with many other ridiculous behaviors, as well as Meghan's deals with Netflix and Spotify in clear violation of royal protocol. So to save face, Meghan and Harry gave the excuse that they wanted privacy as their reason for. This would certainly explain why they're demanding an apology from the royal family and why they have attacked them every chance they got. Talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face. And we can only assume that Meghan is happy. Now, after all, she does love all the attention that she gets thanks to her lies and her hypocrisy. Negative attention is positive to a narcissist. That is an important thing to remember. Narcissists actually enjoy harming people. But I don't believe Harry's happy. Just look at his face. I have not seen a real smile on that man's face after Meghan entered his life. He wants his royal life back. I really do believe that. But he's never going to be able to have it again if he does return home alone. There is simply no organization that's going to want him as a patron. I do find it interesting to watch the two of them. If they are acting up in front of the world, it is not difficult to predict, though, how these two are going to end. they are despised by most people in the free world, and they really assume that people would rally around them instead of the royal family. I mean, what is wrong with them? How stupid can they be? On the other hand, actually, I think Harry could have been pretty happy on a private island with some animals, maybe just living a nice, quiet life, but it is way too late for that. Now, according to all reports, Harry is a big fan of illegal substances. He is still a big fan of partying, and he would prefer to live a very hedonistic life, but only if the media doesn't know a thing about it. And if none of his antics are in the news. So I think that is why Harry would like a private island. He would just love to carry out all his favorite excesses behind closed doors and without the media intruding. But it's never going to work. Just imagine the two of them on a desert island. I actually really like that image, no attention, no cameras, and nobody to hear their nonsense. And they say that's going to make them happy. I mean, the truth is, though, I do not believe there is anything in this world that can make the two of them happy. They don't even want to be with each other. Meghan finds him disgusting. That much is clear. She doesn't even try to look at him with those puppy dog eyes anymore. Instead, she just looks at him with a lot of disgust in her face and how he feels about her. Well, he believes that she is his mother, that she is the reincarnation of Diana. And I guess that is what is keeping this relationship. And actually, I am always a little suspicious of women who treat their men like gods. It's a little too unbelievable, and it's not sustainable. I do suspect that part of that adoration was, look at me. I got myself a prince. I got myself a prince, but it would make us very happy if they would just leave and go somewhere where nobody can see them, where nobody can hear them, where there's no media, nothing. But another issue with this little dream is, could they even afford to buy a private island? I mean, by some standards, they are well off, but they are not extremely wealthy. From what I've seen, they are spending way too much money on their over-the-top lifestyle. They've got that ridiculously large home and the private security, that stuff does not come cheap. So if they actually do have the money to buy the private island, sure, go ahead. But will it make them happy? Now, this is just my opinion, but I don't think so. As much as they say that they want to be private citizens, Meghan sure loves the cameras, doesn't she? And Meghan is never going to be happy. She's a malcontent. Meghan is also requiring constant praise and attention wherever she goes. I suspect she's going to be way too far removed from Hollywood and the stars to be truly happy. But it's not like she's going to be happy with the stars in Hollywood, either. Now, when they first quit the lives of working royals, they did have the chance to use the $16 million they spent on that house in California to buy somewhere else. For example, they could have used that same amount of money to buy a ranch of hundreds or perhaps even thousands of acres in somewhere like Alberta or Saskatchewan. They would have had a home that was literally a mile or more away from the closest road. There are very few people who would have been able to invade their privacy, and with the rest of Harry's money, they could have lived there modestly, but comfortably in relative obscurity. But they didn't want to do that. And now they're claiming that they're dreaming of buying a private island. While what is going to happen if one of those invisible children falls ill? How far away is the closest health facility? The island was definitely be some kind of offshore atoll anyway. But hopefully not in Queensland, where there are about 100 small islands. Truth be told, they're not really all that expensive, but ridiculous cost develop. And also, you require water supply. They would also require a security staff to defend the territory and ward off any invasions by the Taliban. And they would also have to have a doctor there, I would assume, and emergency equipment that would not just sit idle for very long because, you know, Meghan would go into DTS after a week with no paparazzi and Harry actually might have an accidental overdose of mushrooms that are growing on the island. And I think that money could be a problem for them, too, because they did not reach their quota sales on Spare. so Harry might need to pay back a large portion of the $30 million advance. The publishers already paid him, or does he believe that he can hide out from them on an island? I don't think so. The docu-series also did not make them the millions they expected. And I would say this is just another puff piece that is put out by Scooby-Doo to try to distract us from all the bad press and the comic stand-ups that everyone is laughing about.